is waiting.
A walking arsenal who uncoils, strikes, and kills. Clint Eastwood is the man with no name. Lee Van Cleef is waiting. For a few dollars more, it's the second motion picture of its kind. It won't be the last.
And we are back, amigos. Welcome back to the second stream of the Dollars Trilogy. We are talking for a few dollars more. I took out the poster from the Our Video Edition. Here's the other side. Lovely poster art for both sides. Let's carefully fold that back up. So, yes, let's get right back into the dollars pictures here. I've had a change of scenery, as you can see. I figured, you know what, let's go downstairs for this one, so at least I can have the opportunity to smoke a little bit, because this is a longer film than Fistful of Dollars. Dave, here we go. Yes, here we go indeed. We're back like we never left. Yes, welcome back, Andy. Welcome back, everyone that was in the previous stream or was watching the previous stream. Sadly, I was looking if I still had. Usually I do smoke like little mini cigarillos sometimes. I'm all out. I should have picked some up for these streams, but what are you gonna do? I made a lot of preparations, but I missed that. So you'll have to content with me smoking cigarettes instead. I still got the Eastwood look though. I still couldn't find a mission CD. I still got one more. Yeah, one more intermission later. Well, two. Because there will be an intermission during The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, because I'm probably going to watch the full 3-hour version. So, yes, there's going to be an intermission there. I cannot do 3 hours without a cigarette. Hour and a half, hour 40, 2 hours is pretty much reaching, it's pretty much, yeah. It's pretty much the end of my patience, if you know what I mean. Anyway, let's put the poster back in the lovely Arrow slip box. I do have the booklet with me. There's some information in the booklet that I will read into as well. And yes, we do have the television set up as well. Not that one. That one. I made the screen a little smaller because the phone is a little closer to the screen than it was last time. So yes, we are going to watch For a Few Dollars More, released in 1965 in Italy. We're going to get to the release dates, all that stuff, and all trivia once we hit play, which will be in about a minute because it's now 3:29 p.m. right here. We're going to start exactly that on at 3:30. Funnily enough, I had to change the scenery myself, going to my computer upstairs instead of my phone, so no excuses for spellings. Okay, there you go. Well, considering I only woke up an hour before Fistful of Dollars started, not much, not many. I've had probably 2 in the intermission so far, and then this is my 3rd, so. Yeah, that is extremely fantastic art, actually, isn't it? They could have fooled me if they told me that was original poster art in some territory. I would have believed it, because that's how great the artwork is on the both on the slip box and also on the reversible cover on the Amaray case. It's 5:30. Oh, 5:30. 3:30. So it must be 2:30 for you guys in the UK, because I think most of my audience is from the UK. At this point, yeah, like I said, probably the US people will probably start getting in once we get to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So we are going to hit play on the Arrow edition here of For a Few Dollars More in, let's see, you guys, some people here that have PS5, so if we press X, we're going to start. So 1, 2, 3. Fistful of Dollars. Here we For a Few Dollars More, I should say. Here we go. Yeah, 2:30 in the UK. There you go. So For a Few Dollars More, we start right away with this long shot. That's pretty much continuous single shot right here of the horse, the Lone Rider being shot down here by a bounty hunter. Some trivia right off the bat. the whistling and stuff that you hear in the background from the guy, that's actually Sergio Leone himself doing the whistling and doing the boom, doing the sort of the mumbling. According to the trivia, that's Sergio Leone. Ooh, this one is probably Mike Barrett's favorite of the trilogy, but it wasn't when I was younger. Yeah, maybe I'll get around to it as well, saying that, because as of now, as I've alluded to earlier, this is actually my least favorite of the trilogy. But again, that's not saying much, because the amount of times I've watched this film is more than any sane person should have watched this film, or any of the three in this one, in my case. Now here, the guy's being shot. Let's get off to some trivia right at the bat, because we're going to get the credits here. Now, let's go to the release dates first and go to the Arrow booklet for that. Now, there was working titles as well for this one, like obviously for... this is a little bit of a rocking chair, actually, Dave, yeah. There were working titles for this one. We have Il Cacciatore di Taglie, The Bounty Hunter, and we have Duo Stranieri Magnifici, Two Magnificent Strangers. So the first one was called The Magnificent Stranger in the working title, and this one's called Two Magnificent Strangers in the working title. The Italian title is Per qualche dollaro in più, and the Spanish title is La muerte tenía un precio, which means death has a price. And it's called Für ein paar Dollar mehr in Germany, which does translate to For a Few Dollars More. The original release date for this is December 18th, 1965 at the Super Cinema Rome in Italy. And it was March 25th, 1966 in West Germany, and September the 5th, 1966 in Spain. And the USA got it May 10th, 1967, and the UK got it October 11th, 1967. Now, this film, Sergio Leone broke off the relationship with the producers that produced Fistful of Dollars, Pappy and Colombo, because they were kind of scumbag producers. They were kind of shortchanging Leone. This one, he went to producer Alberto Grimaldi. Now, I do have some on Alberto Grimaldi to share. But the budget for this one, the budget for Fistful of Dollars was $200,000. The budget for this one skyrocketed to $600,000. So there's definitely a few dollars more, pardon the pun, on this one. Now, Clint Eastwood's paycheck has increased from $15,000 for Fistful of Dollars to $50,000 for this movie. And it reached $250,000 plus 10% on the gross for The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So Clint made out like a bandit on the sequels. This was even a bigger hit than Fistful of Dollars already was, even being the highest grossing film in Italy for some years. I think until My Name is Trinity in 1972, 73. Yeah, and producer Alberto Grimaldi, that's my first page of this film done. Producer Grimaldi was a lawyer who moved into film distribution in the early 60s, picking up Joaquin Romero Marchand's first westerns for screening in Italy. He went on to set up Produzione Europei Associati, PIA, which reaped enormous profits from Leone's For a Few Dollars More and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the latter co-produced by United Artists. More on that later. With which Grimaldi had struck up a financing and distribution deal. And later he produced the successful works of Sollima, Corbucci, Parolini, Barboni, and outside the genre, Pasolini, Bertolucci, and Rosi. Writer Sergio Donati worked with Grimaldi on several occasions, and this is a quote from Sergio Donati. He never came on the set. He was more of a business-like producer, but he loved the job. He used to be very discreetly behind the scenes. Grimaldi returned to international limelight by co-producing Martin Scorsese's Gang of New York from 2002. And his Euro-Western credits for producing include The Shadow of Zorro, 1962, Two Violent Men, 1964, of course, For a Few Dollars More, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Then we had Legacy of the Incas, $100,000 for Lasseter. Then he also produced The Big Gun Down, Face to Face, The Mercenary, Sabata, Adios Sabata, and The Return of Sabata. And Man of the East, Dallas, and 1978 has La Ciudad Maldita. So that's Alberto Grimaldi, the producer of this film. And that's another page done. Now let's catch up on comments before we go into, obviously, the character we're going to be introduced to here, Lee Van Cleef, the great LVC. Yeah, this is a little bit of a rocking chair, actually. Did you know Clint was... Yes, I did know that. Clint Eastwood in an episode of Mr. Ed lived next door to Ed, kept calling him on the phone. Mr. Eastwood does not ride bareback. That's why his show's called Ride. Yes, I actually did know about that. Yes, it's on YouTube, actually, that Mr. Ed appearance. Yes, I will agree there. El Indio is a much better, more fascinating villain than Ramon Rojo in Fistful. I will agree there for sure. Lee Van Cleef is like, or a little bit like James Bond, because yeah, remember Bond was popular at this point. We had all films up until Thunderball at this point. 1965 was the release of Thunderball as well. So Bond was popular. So a lot of these spaghetti westerns kind of took the Bond persona and kind of transferred that to the West. Obviously with Lee Van Cleef's character in this one, and especially when Lee Van Cleef went on to do the Sabata films, that was really 007 in the West. I don't know what the Super Cinema is in Italy, but it sounds ace. Yes, it does, doesn't it? Yeah. Clint directed Perfect World. He sure did. That's a great film. Lee Van Cleef is like Batman, maybe the quote of the stream. Apropos Lee Van Cleef, I will go to my awesome spaghetti western in-depth book, Any Gun Can Play by Kevin Grant, to give you the bio on Lee Van Cleef, because this is definitely his big introduction right here that we are now witnessing. Let's see, I did have the index for Lee Van Cleef right here somewhere. They list pretty much all the actors of spaghetti westerns in this book. It's a must-have if you're into these films, or if you want to get into these films. Here's Lee Van Cleef, born as Clarence Leroy Van Cleef Jr. in 1925, and he passed away sadly in 1989. Tall and barrel-chested with a hooked nose and hard, sharp features, Van Cleef was on the archetypal Hollywood bit part heavy of Dutch ancestry. So he's of Dutch ancestry. That makes me proud. Van Cleef is a Dutch name. So he made his debut as one of the killers in High Noon, 1952, dying at the hands of the hero, spoilers, and setting the pattern for the first phase of his career. His first opportunities to act, rather than merely glower, came when Leone rescued him from obscurity. He hadn't made a film for 3 years, acting only for television, and was a notoriously hard drinker, pretty much like Oliver Reed and people like that, and took him to Italy. Leone did. There, in the wake of For a Few Dollars More and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, he became an unlikely superstar, switching between roles of ambiguous nobility. Mortimer, Jonathan Corbett, Ryan in Death Rides a Horse, Sabata, and heartless villainy, Angel Eyes, Frank Talby in Day of Anger. He never regained such stature after his European career had peaked in the early 70s, but he was regularly employed in the leading and supporting roles on the continent and in America until his death. And his Euro-Western filmography goes as follows. Obviously, For a Few Dollars More, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, The Big Gun Down, Day of Anger, Death Rides a Horse, Beyond the Law, Sabata, El Condor, Batman's River, Captain Apache, Return of Sabata, The Grand Duel, The Stranger and the Gunfighter, Take a Hard Ride, God's Gun, and Kid Vengeance. So that's the bio on LVC. Yeah, I love Gran Torino as well. Yeah. Yes, Dave is a Firefox man. Oh shit! There we go. Grew up watching Rawhide and the Rifle. Yes, The Rifleman with Chuck Connors. Yes, I do know of that as well. The Korean Western, The Good, the Bad, and the Weirdest accent. I have not seen that, oddly enough, but it is on my radar. Anyway, this might be the closest we're going to get to some TNA in these films, actually, because there's a naked chick in the bathtub. She does cover herself up, so luckily I do not have to remove the television, but there's a little bit of female nudity. Oh shit! Yeah, The Gauntlet with Clint and Sandra Luck. That's probably my favorite with her in it. I always remember being in a soulless pub, but for some reason they had The Rifleman on big projection screen, and it was awesome. And Matthew Binney is back. Welcome back, Matthew. Great movie this one is. This film is free on free TV in Australia a lot. There you go. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. We very recently, actually, RTL7, the same station where I saw these Fistful Dollars on for the first time, they actually, just a few weeks ago, just a month ago or so, they actually had all three of these films back on television again. So they're pretty popular over here as well, obviously. Death Rides, yes, I love Death Rides a Horse. We might do some more spaghetti western watch parties in the future, and that might definitely be one of them. But I love Death Rides a Horse. So yeah, the naked chick there in the bathtub. I love how it's kind of treated casually by Van Cleef. He's just like, he doesn't pay any attention. He's like, pardon me, ma'am. And then, I do have some bio on this guy, the bounty that Van Cleef takes out, and there's a cool picture of that guy from the film Django, which he's also in. We're going to list his biography. He's Jose Taron, born in 1949. He didn't. This does not have a death date, but he has passed away. He's a stuntman and actor, or he was a stuntman and actor. Despite his distinctive features, Taron has only recently been identified by film scholars as the shark-toothed outlaw Guy Galloway in Sergio Leone's classic For a Few Dollars More. And the scar-faced Ringo, dispatched by Franco Nero with such nonchalance in Django, embodying the Leonian and wider European preoccupation with eye-catching, I cannot read that word, countenances. Yeah, he made only a handful of appearances in the mid-60s, all in westerns and all uncredited, reflecting his non-professional status before disappearing off the radar. So not much is known about this guy who Van Cleef shoots here. But his credits include For a Few Dollars More, Arizona Cold, Django, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. He's there for a brief second in that film. We're going to point him out when we get there. Navajo Joe, Death Rides a Horse, God Forgives, I Don't, I Want Him Dead, Shalako, which is a Euro-Western with Sean Connery. White Comanche, that's actually with William Shatner, believe it or not. The Forgotten Pistolero, and then in 1970, his last credit is if I can fucking talk, The Deserter. And he definitely has a face only a mother can love. If you take a look at his face, as Van Cleef shoots him there right point blank in the head. Anyway, that's Jose Taron, a character actor who you will definitely recognize if you watch a lot of spaghetti westerns, as I have. Oh, the next bio I have is Klaus Kinski, so we're going to wait until Klaus Kinski gets introduced before we go back to the show notes. Chuck Connors is one of my favorite ninja films, Sakura Killers. Yes, Chuck Connors. He's done a lot of stuff. He's also done a spaghetti western, Kill 'Em All, Come Back Alone by Enzo G. Castellari. That's a great spaghetti western. And that's almost a spaghetti western, Two Means for Sister Sarah. That's like a spaghetti western that isn't a spaghetti western, if you catch my meaning. That feels very spaghetti, that film, in no large part due to Ennio Morricone's score for that film. Here we have Eastwood's introduction into this film, riding the horse, oh, not riding the horse, but walking alongside the horse right as the rain starts coming in. And apparently Sergio Leone was such a perfectionist that he waited for like a half a day before the rain would come, because he knew that there was a rain forecast, and he waited specifically for the rain to come in. Paint Your Wagon is definitely not my favorite, Sean. Yeah, Death Rides a Horse is great. Van Cleef was also, of course, famously in John Carpenter's Escape from New York. Yes, very true. Yes, Arrow Video has also, excuse me, Arrow Video did also put out the 4K of The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. Yes, that is very true. Aren't they meant to be remaking? Sore subject. I hope Carlos isn't watching. Eastwood for Life fan. I also sincerely hope that never happens. And Ramon is back. Hey, Ramon. Van Cleef was also in a brilliant heist noir, Kansas City Confidential, 1952. One of the best in the genre. There you go. Yes, Van Cleef, he got around in a lot of bit parts in the 50s. Don't go there. Don't go there. Don't give people ideas. I will add it to my list then. The Good, the Bad, the Weird is a lot of fun. Must see. Okay. No, let's hope not. Sergio Corbucci film The Great Silence in my... Yes, that is in my definitely top 10. I don't know about top 5. I'll have to really... If we include like all westerns, like American included. The Great Silence I definitely consider as one of the greatest westerns ever made, in my humble opinion, that's for sure. I do have a little bit of trivia about this scene to point out, because one of the people at the table is actually a writer and director, Fernando Di Leo. Now, for those that are versed with Italian subgenres and Italian genre films, Fernando Di Leo is kind of like the king of the Eurocrime films, because he did a lot of those Eurocrime films. He did some of the best, to be honest, with Caliber 9, The Italian Connection, The Boss, Rulers of the City, and Shoot First, Die Later. That's him right there. Kind of like the blonde guy with the white cowboy hat. That's Fernando Di Leo. He also was a writer on Fistful and For a Few Dollars More. So that's a little cameo. There are more cameos from production people coming up that I will point out. But yeah, this scene perfectly introduces Eastwood once again as Manco. This time, of course, like I said, he's known as the man with no name. But he has a name in all 3 films. In this one, it's Manco. which means one-armed, apparently in Spanish. Which makes sense because if you pay close attention, I did not notice this until like one of my most recent watches when I listened to one of the audio commentaries. He actually does pretty much everything with one hand in this film. He pretty much uses his left hand for every kind of motion that he does, picking up the cards as you see there and stuff. He only uses his right hand with the gauntlet on it for shooting. So he's known as the one arm because he does everything. Even the fight scene that's come up, he only punches with his left hand. So I did not notice that until one of my most recent watches, and I've watched this film a lot, you know. But yeah, that's why he's called Manco, because yeah, pretty much his right arm is useless for everything except for shooting. So that's why. There is a replica of it, but it's going for a lot of money. But I would I would love to have a replica musical watch, you know, that plays that theme. There are replicas of it, I do know that. Italian Connection is great, yeah. Yeah, there you go. If you notice, Clint only punches and stuff with his right hand, or with his left hand rather. Sorry, he doesn't use his right hand at all in this fight. That's just some trivia, and not everybody might have picked up on that. Again, I didn't. My first, 50 watches of it, so I was just too enamored with Clint being the badass that he is, I guess. Alive or dead, it's your choice. I love the half-shaven face of that guy. If he gets a close-up. Look at that, only half-shaven. And of course, again, bam, 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 all three with that great camera shot from the hip. And then he shoots Guy Galloway without even looking. Or, what's his name again? Baby Kavanaugh. Yeah, that's his name. And then twirling, holstering the weapon again. As we had that little musical sting, I think it's appropriate to once again point out the great Ennio Morricone and the great soundtrack that he did for this film, which is very similar to Fistful of Dollars with the same kind of whistling theme, of course. Different, different style for not different style of whistling, the same style of whistling, but of course different melody of whistling. But the soundtrack for this, for a long time, you could not get like the complete soundtrack. That has changed with this 50th anniversary CD soundtrack. Now you have the full score on soundtrack finally with this edition by Beat Records in Italy. So yeah, with some great artwork. As I'm hearing the great soundtrack here on the speaker, it's once again a fantastic soundtrack. And we've now been introduced to two of our main characters in this film. We're going to get introduced to our third main character, or the main villain, coming up here in just a bit. Of course, Gian Maria Volonté is back in this one. Highway Patrol. Oh yeah, Clinton episode Highway Patrol. There you go. I am not familiar with Highway Patrol. Yes, that is also very true. We will save that trivia for when we get to the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. But yes, that is true. I've noticed when I watched this film yesterday that Klaus Kinski is left-handed as well. Klaus Kinski has his holster on the left side, and he draws with his left hand when, spoilers, he faces with Lee Van Cleef. There's some other films where you can see that Kinski is also left-handed. But yeah. Love Chips, there you go. No Bill Carson in this one. No, that's the next one. Random thought, even by my standards, but do the best composers wear glasses? You could be right there, actually. Well, actually, John Barry did not wear glasses, and Barry I consider one of the best composers. So, other than that, though, John Williams has glasses, Morricone has glasses. Hans Zimmer does not wear glasses, and he's considered one of the best. So, there's definitely a point to that. Well, I can tell you mine. It's Once Upon a Time in the West, but that's only by a slight hair. Yeah, that's the next one with Bill Carson. Yeah, that is very sad about Bruce Willis. Yeah, another legend who's sadly time has caught up with him and some goddamn stupid disease, right? Yeah, it's a shame when that happens. Yeah, so I do like this scene of the introduction of Al Indio, played by, of course, Gianmaria Volante. I love how he just lies there with the sombrero covering his face, and the other guy's just pacing, and then the other guys come in. Mario Brega is back. Of course, he was the guy that got crushed by the barrel and Fistful of Dollars. To his left is, or to his right rather, is Benito Stefanelli. Of course, we covered him in Fistful of Dollars as well. There's Aldo Sambrella. I will cover Aldo Sambrella in this one. I did not do the bio for him in Fistful because, well, he was pretty much a non-speaking role. He was pretty much second baddie from the left in that film. In this one, he actually has a character name. He's Cuchillo in this film. Not to be confused with Cuchillo, played by Tomas Milian in The Big Gun Down and Run Man Run. But yeah, we have all the Leone faces back. Like I said, Benito Stefanelli, Aldo Sambrella. Even the guy who spits in Fistful is back in this one. We're going to see him in the next scene with Indio. Lorenzo Robledo. This might actually be a good time to cover Aldo Sambrella, actually, as he's there pretty much on screen there. Hang on. Who's this? Oh, we got Klaus Kinski. We're going to cover Kinski next. So Aldo Sambrella. Is this the full bio? This is the full bio. Aldo Sambrella, born 1931 or 1937. So that's a big gap there. Nobody knows exactly when he was born, apparently. And he passed away in 2010. That much is known. Actor and director, he grew up in Mexico, where he studied the dramatic arts. Back in Spain, he played soccer or football before pursuing an acting career. Facially and physically perfect for westerns, he racked up an He racked up an impressive number of appearances, specializing in Mexican or mixed-race heavies, usually given more than glowing cameos. He played a minor villain in all Leone's westerns. It has been said by Sambrella that at least Leone promised to cast him as Tuco in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, should Eli Wallach, who had already been signed for the role, become unavailable. Although fate conspired against him there, his performance as the half-breed Duncan in Navajo Joe proved he could electrify the screen if given a chance, which I do agree with. And here's a quote by Sambrella. "I have died more than anyone else in the history of cinema," he boasted. "More than 150 times. How many times has Sean Bean died? Maybe he's up for the record now. One of the genre's unsung heroes, he also ran a production company and directed several features. In 2006, he produced and starred in a short film commemorating the Western years called Rio Seco, directed by Jose Manuel Serrano Cueto, whose interview with Sambrella was published in a book from 2003. And here are his Euro Western credits. Now prepare, because these are a lot. Hang on. Let me organize my pages and wet the whistle, because I'm going to rattle off a lot of titles here. I love his laugh here. "I'll let you leave you, so you can tell everybody what takes place here." Yeah, I love the big maniacal laugh. Great bit coming up here with the wanted poster. Anyway, Aldo Sambrella's Euro Western credits include, here we go, Gunfight at High Noon, Gunfight at Red Sands, The Magnificent Three, Billy the Kid, Cavalry Charge, Fistful of Dollars, The Fury of the Apaches, Gunfighters of Casa Grande, Massacre at Fort Grant, Revello para un Pistolero, Tomb of the Pistolero, Two Violent Men for a few dollars more, In a Cold Shadow, A Place Called Glory, Son of a Gunfighter, A Bullet for the General, Dynamite Jim, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Navajo Joe, $100,000 for Lassiter, Savage Gringo, The Texican, Face to Face, 15 Scaffolds for a Killer, The Hellbenders, that's a good world by the way, The Hellbenders, A Long Ride from Hell, A Minute to Pray and a Second to Die, Once One Time to West, Requiem for a Gringo, A Train for Durango, Villa Rides, White Comanche, 100 Rifles, Vengeance is Mine, Arizona, Cannon for Cordoba, Clumsy Hands, Bad Man's River, Fistful of Dynamite, Hands Up Dead Man You're Under Arrest, Henny Calder, Kill Django Kill First, Rain for a Dusty Summer, A Town Called Bastard, Ben and Charlie, Charlie One Eye, The Man Called Noon, Tequila, Silver Saddle, Ahora Mis Pistolas Hablan, oh shit, There's one more. No, wait, that's not him. Oh, I guess that's it. I guess that's what I got. And here is Lorenzo Robledo once again. It's the guy being taken hostage by El Indio. Again, he's the guy that spits in Fistful of Dollars. I guess the next one I have is Luigi Pistilli. We're going to get to Pistilli soon as well. Also, Kinski is coming up here in this scene, I think. Let's see, I'll pull up this comment. If I had to pick top 3 Morricone scores, it would be Once Upon a Time in the West, Cinema Paradiso. That's a great one, which always makes me cry. And last would be The Mission. Mine would probably be Once Upon a Time in the West, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and Once Upon a Time in America. But all 3 can interchange to be number 1, to be honest, because all 3 are fantastic. Especially, you know, Deborah's theme, Once Upon a Time in America, Jill's theme, Once Upon a Time in the West, fantastic. Volante definitely ups the crazy. Yes, he gets crazy indeed as a dope smoking fiend. Yes. Lots of full episodes of Highway Patrol on YouTube. There you go. Awesome. So if anybody wants to check it out, I will name some actors and you'll tell me if you like to see him in a Western. Dustin Hoffman as a villain now. Hugh Grant, Jeremy Renner. Well, again, Dustin Hoffman has done a Western, Little Big Man. I do like Hoffman, so yeah, why not? Hugh Grant would be perfect in a Western because he kind of has the Eastwood look. If he has the beard, the Wolverine beard and stuff. Jeremy Renner, yeah, I would say yes, sure, why not? Yeah, on all 3. Loved Once Upon a Time in the West. Yes, I love it too. That might be another watch party in the future. The Texican, Audie Murphy's sort of only spaghetti Western. I think I mentioned that one, didn't I? Yeah. Here we have the awesome. I love the guitar play in this track, with the watch chime in the background as well. This is I love the guitar. I have to fucking up the volume a little bit. I gotta hear it a little bit more clearly. Let's hope you guys won't hear it clearly. Bum, bum, bum. And then we have the organ coming in. Da 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 da. I have to stop doing that. I might be doing it too good. Keep thinking that Klaus Kinski was the person that ruined my mate's Halloween poster when he signed. But I'm thinking of Udo Kier. Well, if Kinski signed anything, he probably would have ruined it as well. Du dumme Sau, du! Weg damit! That's German for you stupid bastard. Get that out of my face. Rough translation. If a hero and hateful villain are stranded in the snow in a Western, would that make them bond? The villain is then dependent on the hero. That sounds a little bit like The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, but then in the snow, kind of like the Tuco and Blondie relationship. Yeah, I like that idea. I like snow westerns anyway. So yeah, Kinski. Yeah, creepy in he's creepy in anything. But yeah, Crawl Space. I do know the one. Yeah, you brought too many. Hey, Rob is here. This is very early for Rob because I think Rob is on the the Pacific Standard Time or. I think it's in the morning for Rob, but good morning, Rob. Yes, thank you. I do try to have it matched up to Clint's, so yeah. Once Upon a Time in the West, I have some insight for your viewing. Oh, I don't think I need too much insight. I think I got all the insight on that one because I got a massive book by Christopher Frayling that's all about Once Upon a Time in the West. So if I do the watch party, I will just refer to that book by Sir Christopher Frayling. Called Once Upon a Time in the West, Shooting a Masterpiece. Yeah, here we have El Indio smoking a spliff. I think the first use of marijuana in a major motion picture. I think Christopher Frayling said that. They didn't really know what marijuana did because yeah, it's like he takes a puff, the screen goes red. It's like the guitar starts whirring on the soundtrack. It's yeah. But again, it's groundbreaking because yeah, there wasn't any character that smoked a spliff before this film. Again, I might be wrong. I'm just going by what Sir Christopher Frayling said. Uso Kier was great. The films Flesh for Frankenstein, Blood for Dracula, and Blade. There you go. I've not seen any of those actually. Well, I've seen Wesley Snipes play, but if you had a Wild West train, at 4 Western characters would you have as your guards if you were the Henry Fonda character and you could hire any Western characters? Definitely Clint. Definitely Clint. I wouldn't hire Bronson because Bronson's going against Fonda in that film. Maybe I would hire Steve McQueen from The Magnificent Seven. Let me think. Maybe Lee Van Cleef from Sabata. Not from this one, but from Sabata, maybe. Oh wait, there were 4 characters I had to choose. There's one more. Let me think now. Gotta have a John Wayne character, so I'll go with John Wayne from The Searchers. Why not? I still think it's funny that Psycho was the first film to have a flushing toilet, and yes, that is also true. That is, yeah. Here we go. So I'm gonna do Kinski and Pistilli in a second. I do have trivia on, yes, the kid right here, Fernando, played by Antonio Roriz. He also appeared in Lee Van Cleef's opening sequence in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, so he will be there as well. And his other Euro Western credits, he's been in a few. Include $100,000 for Lassiter and also a Bullet for the General. He was very memorable actually in Bullet for the General. He's the kid that comes up in the opening sequence. He's like, "Senor, do you like Mexico?" And then Luke Cassell goes, "No, not particularly." And I think also at the end he's like, "The gringo, he does not like Mexico or something." Or maybe I'm confusing that with a different Mexican Revolutionary Western. But yeah, that's Antonio Roriz. I think, yeah, he's definitely still alive because he was a kid at this point. He's still alive, as far as I know. And yeah, Spanish-born kid that appeared in a few of these Euro Westerns. Yeah. So yeah, next up I got Pistilli and Kinski to cover. So yeah. Hang on, who is this? This was, yeah, this is, get back. Yeah, here's Kinski. There we go. Gotta keep track of my notes. Let me know if you see any strangers, huh? You sort of little runt. I do like when Clint pulls him and says, "Now listen to me, you sort of little runt." Saw Flash in the cinema in 3D. Oh, awesome. I bet that would have been awesome in 3D. The buxom hotel lady right here is played by Mara Krupp. I think the name sounds German, but I don't think she's German. I don't have a bio on her, sadly, but I do know that there is a deleted scene with her and Clint where they actually have a romantic scene in the bed, and that's actually one of the stills that Arrow Video included in the booklet. So there actually was a sequence where Clint was going to have a romantic involvement with the buxom hotel lady, but it got cut from the film, obviously, and well, the footage is probably lost. So the stills is all that we have left from it, but this that would make sense why the hotel lady is kind of pining for Clint Eastwood. It's like, he's tall, isn't he? And even later on, when the kid calls Clint Eastwood, she's doing her makeup. She's like, "Oh, he's coming down. He's coming down the stairs." So there would have been a romantic scene between Clint and the hotel lady here. And I do like that visual gag where the hotel guy is very short. He was standing on something, and then as he steps down, you see that he's actually a very short guy. All in the Family. There you go. Okay. Yeah, if we're going to choose video game characters, yeah, Arthur Morgan, John Marston. Let's have Dutch as well. We need a man with a plan, Arthur. We're going to Tahiti. You will get that reference, Sean, for sure. I love the Wild Wild West telly show as a kid. Yeah, that got mentioned in the previous theme. Yes. I've not seen the telly show, but I've seen the Will Smith film. Yes, Clint did keep the poncho. Clint still has the poncho. I think it's in a. Is it in a museum? It's somewhere stored in a location where you can view it. I do know that. But Clint still has the poncho, and apparently he never washed the poncho. The poncho has never been washed since he first wore it in Fistful of Dollars. Apparently, Clint Eastwood said you don't wash it because it brings good luck when you don't wash it. So, Nastasia Kinski is a nice person. Her father, on the other hand, Klaus, yeah, different story. Great in the Cat People remake. Who's that? Oh, Nastasia. There you go. Had a goddamn plan. Micah. Oh, Dutch. He's a rat. You'll know it. Yes, here we have the introduction of Luigi Pistelli, and Klaus Kinski is in the scene as well. So this will be a good opportunity to do the bio on Luigi Pistelli and also on Klaus Kinski. So let's go to, let's see. Hang on. No, this is still Aldo Sambrel. I don't need the Aldo Sambrel notes, I need the Kinski notes. Oh, I got those to the left of me. There you go. Too many. There we go. Klaus Kinski. Some quotes from Kinski as well. "The life I live is very expensive," he once said. "The best movie in the world I wouldn't do without money. There was a time I didn't read scripts at all. I just counted my lines and how much they were going to pay me." I'm doing a very terrible German accent. This apparent indifference to his art was consistent with the arrogance and/or indolence that characterized many of his cameos and villainous turns in westerns. Let's see. Yes, he's known for his famous 5 films with Werner Herzog before returning to the genre flicks in the 80s. His co-stars have never been short of an opinion on him. Here's a quote by Richard Harrison. "Klaus Kinski spent his whole life fighting," says Richard Harrison. "He loved to make people squirm. Hunt Powers was more blunt. Quote unquote. He was a son of a bitch of the highest order. He treated everyone as if they were slaves." And of course, he is the father of actress Nastasia Kinski. His Euro-Western credits include Last of the Renegades from 1964, The Last Ride to Santa Cruz, then For a Few Dollars More as The Hunchback, Wild. He was in Bullet for the General as well with Gianmaria Volonté in 66. He was also in Man, Pride and Vengeance from 67, The Great Silence from 68, as well as If You Meet Sartana, Pray for Your Death and The Ruthless Four. From 69, we have I Am Sartana, Your Angel of Death, Twice a Judas. From 1970, we have And God Sent the Cain and the Beast. And God Sent the Cain is a rare one because he's actually the main star in that film. He's not a supporting character in that film. 1971, we have A Barrel Full of Dollars and Black Killer. Also A Fistful of Death, and His Name Was King, and The Price of Death, and Shoot the Living, Pray for the Dead. Damn, that's a lot in 71. And Vengeance Trail. In 1972, we have The Return of Clint the Stranger. 1973, we have The Fighting Fists of Shanghai Joe. In 1974, we have The Return of Shanghai Joe. In 1975, his last Euro-Western, A Genius, Two Partners, and a Dupe. So that's Klaus Kinski, and we also have the introduction of Groggy, played by Luigi Pistelli. In this one, before we get to Pistelli, we have a few more comments to quickly get through. Ana de Armas as a Western heroine. Sure, she could definitely play a Western heroine for sure. Definitely. Oh, there's my cat annoying me. What do you want? What do you want? Huh? Still can't get over the town stamp. It's called John Tunstall in Young Guns, and Tunstall is the name of a town just down the road from me. Ah, there you go. Cool. Hey, Patrick, it's very early in the morning for Patrick as well. Jeff needs a Colonel Morba pipe. Well, I do have my cigarettes. I don't have a pipe or a cigarillo. I should have planned ahead a little bit, but anyway, thanks for joining Patrick. Clara Clayton in Back to the Future 3. Clayton is a town really close to me also. Ah, cool. I don't have any Anglo-sized town names anywhere near me. Doc Holliday from Tombstone. What's that in reference to? Okay. Oh, the character you would choose. Okay, yeah, now I get it. Yeah. Saw For a Few Dollars More when I was 9. Yeah, I was in my teens. Again, like I said, probably Fistful of Dollars was August 7th, we said, in 2010. Then afterwards, that's actually a good point. This is the first where I watched for a few dollars more. Was on this very DVD right here, the Dutch Western Legends MGM DVD for a few dollars more. That was the first time that I forgot. I totally put away the TV. There you go. No, this was the first time where I watched this film for a few dollars more. Was on that DVD. Then I upgraded, of course, to the German Blu-ray. Here in this scene, a little bit more of trivia. The bank manager is played by unsung hero of the spaghetti westerns, Carlo Simi, who did the sets and costumes for these films, as well as many others. The towns, the costumes, that's all Carlo Simi, and that adds a lot to these films. That adds so much more than people give him credit for. And here he has a cameo as the bank manager of the El Paso Bank. Anyway, I was going to do the Pistelli bio, which I think is the last bio we have for this film. Then yeah, the next few notes are on the Good, the Bad, the Ugly, so we're going to get there. So let's rattle off the Euro westerns for Luigi Pistelli. There aren't many. A little bit of bio as well. Intense, flexible character actor who flitted between stage and screen throughout his career. Leone used him as both a saint, Padre Ramirez in The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and a sinner in Groggy and For a Few Dollars More. He excelled in westerns by Sergio Corbucci and Giulio Petroni, too many Italian names, and was a boon to several gialli and crime films. Yes, he did do some gialli and crime films as well. Apparently suffering from depression, it gets dark here in the bio. Apparently suffering from depression, exaggerated by the breakup of a relationship and negative reviews for his latest theatrical work, he sadly committed suicide in 1996. His Euro-Western credits include For a Few Dollars More, which was his first one, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, $100,000 for Lassiter, there that film is again, Texas Adios with Franco Nero, Death Rides a Horse, The Great Silence, and Night of the Serpents, aka, I got that film as a different, Nest of Vipers, there you go. And those are my show notes for a few dollars more, there you go. Do have some bit more trivia and stuff to pull up, but can't believe I've only seen Tombstone. I do still, that is one that is sorely missing from my collection. I still have to get a copy of Tombstone. It's one that's missing from my Western collection. Is the cat called Clint? No, it's not called Clint. Where the fuck is he? I think I'm sitting in his chair because before I went to sit here, he was laying in the chair. I was like, get out, I want to sit here. So I think he's missing his chair. But too bad, my chair now. Yeah, Tombstone is great with Kurt Russell, late great Bill Paxton, yeah. Let's do the old poncho flip because it's getting quite warm with the poncho on. There we go. Never asked you this before, but I'll be amazed. But what is your cat name? I think he made an appearance on my Rocky watch party, and the same question came up there. I don't know who it was, but no, his name is Luca. Like Luca Brasi, yeah. The cat with no name. Here's the great Klaus Kinski scene with the match. I love that beat. Yeah. There's Kinski with a little twitch going on and stuff. And I love how that gets a payoff later on. Well, if it isn't a smoker, in 10 minutes you'll be smoking in hell. Yeah, 1965. Sean McManus saw The Good, the Bad, the Ugly first when he was about 9. That would be a great age to watch it, but yeah, it was a little later for me, but I enjoyed it nonetheless on my first time watch. For a few cat treats more. For a fistful of cat treats. Yeah, this is a great scene, iconic. Van Cleef offering the cigar back to Kinski. Kinski walks away. I love how he goes, do you want it? You? As breakup passes, and then Luigi Pistelli. Luigi Pistelli, for the Bronson fans among us, he was also in the film Cold Sweat with Charles Bronson in 1970. So he's also worked with the great Charlie B. A lot. A lot, yeah. Gunfight at the OK Corral is my favorite White Earp film, says Ramon. He prefers it over Tombstone. I'll have to give that a rewatch, to be fair. The same goes for Russell as well. Same here. I also like Hour of the Gun. There you go. Paint the Cat Ball. Yes, Mike and My Darling Clementine is another one I prefer. Okay, there you go. Gonna Get You Sucker film. Yes, I know that film. It's time for another smoke for me as I see Eastwood there chomping on a cigar. At least I could have done is get some matches. But, at least light it like Clint Eastwood does. They don't make matches that you can just strike on anything anymore, do they? Because that's one of the things when I watched these films for the first time, I was like, how the fuck does he strike a match on his trouser leg? It's like the matches that they make nowadays, they definitely don't have that. What's the word? They don't incendiary. What is that the word? Yeah. They can't be struck as easily anymore. You really need to use the sandpaper bit on the side of a matchbook. Here's a great example of Leone's, stuff in the foreground, stuff in the background, shot composition. Face in the foreground, people moving in the background. These are the shots that, it's amazing. Siete, ocho, nueve. Even get some Spanish in there. There you go. Ken is My Darling Clementine. My Darling Clementine, how could I forget? That's probably my favorite version. There you go. Oh, My Darling Clementine. I always remember somebody asking a famous British film critic, Barry Norman. Yes, he's definitely famous, even I know him. What kind of film can you watch no matter what? And he said Westerns, and I think I agree. If we are talking about a lot of these kind of Westerns, for sure, yes. There are some Westerns that are a little slow. Yeah, I don't like every single Western, even though I'm a big Western buff. There's even Westerns that I'm not particularly fond of. Paint Your Wagon, but still. And same for me. I do like horror films, but Westerns, and in particular spaghetti Westerns, is definitely one of my favorite genres, to be fair. Okay. He definitely wants something here. He's just pacing around. Either he's just annoying me, or he wants something. What do you want? Huh? Cat treats? I'll get you something in a minute. Okay. Go away. I'm doing my YouTube stuff. Westerns and noir for Ramon. There you go. Yeah, I've not dabbled into noir too much. I really should get into that a little bit. Yeah. There's a great striking matches gags, and there are great striking matches gags in The Mercenary from 1968 with Franco Nero, where he lights a match between the cleavage of a prostitute. He lights the match between a guy's teeth from a guy's nose. There are some very inventive match strikings in The Mercenary. I highly recommend Spaghetti Western, by the way. It's a great one by Sergio Corbucci. It's fantastic. If you love these films, you'll absolutely love that one as well. Horror just edges it out by not by much for Dave. There you go. Basically, like any Westerns, or Ramon says, not many bad ones were made. Paint Your Wagon. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I love a terrible Western no matter what. There you go. Here is the return of Joseph Agro again. This was probably one of his last film credits because he passed away in '65, like I said. The old crazy guy, the old crazy coffin maker from Fistful of Dollars, and he's the prophet in this one. Now, when I first watched the film, I wasn't too big on his scene here. Now I appreciate the scene a lot more now, because as a lot of people know, I'm not the biggest fan of the Italian comedy. It's more slapstick and more overt, more in your face. I'm not a big slapstick comedy guy. So his whole thing with choo choo choo, and then him acting all crazy, I wasn't too particularly fond of it when I first watched it. I do appreciate that much better, much more now. Yeah, because of the trains. Because of the damn trains, damn them. Yeah. You know what my decision about selling was? You said no. You're right about that. No to him and his damn trains. Cool looking Moggy cat. Yeah, thank you. He's an old one. He's I think 16 or 17 years old. He's getting up there. He's old, but not obsolete. Yeah, he still gets around. Oh, there you go. You can still get non-safety matches from eBay, and you'll love the name. Strike Anywhere Cowboy matches sold. I'll have to get me some of those. I'll have to get me some of those. Oh shit, he's walking across my notes. Hey, don't walk across my notes. Let me check if the outside door is closed, because maybe he just wants to go outside, because he still does that. Just a second. Outside door is open. He probably just wants some food or something. I will see to that in the intermission, because I'm watching a fucking movie, you bastard. Don't interrupt me now. One of the westerns I enjoyed the least was the western The Rare Breed with James Stewart. It was just too boring. Basically, it's a film about cattle. I can see why that could be boring, yeah. There's another slapstick moment coming up that I do kind of like, but it was kind of a little OTT in my opinion when I first watched the film. With this Chinaman here. You take it to the station. The gentleman's leaving. Take it inside. To the station. Inside. Ah! That was a kind of a little too much for me when I first watched. I was like, yeah, a little over, a little over the top. I do like the moment a bit more nowadays. Cats be catting. Hey, speaking of cats, the horror cat dad is here. Hey, Larry. Again, it's early for him as well, because, yeah, it's... what did I figure out? I think it was 9 p.m. or 10 p.m., whatever, in Pacific time. And somebody will tell me, but, yeah, I figured it out before I did the... yeah. Oh, shit. Still, again, cats can't ever... Oh, believe that my cat made it to 19. He was like a free cat. Nobody wanted... Oh, there you go. Hey, and another guy from the US is there. Hey, Mike. Again, it's early for you guys. I know. Ah, there you go. It's 9 p.m. There you go. I think that was PST. I think EST, it was a little earlier. Or it was the other way around, but yeah. What's your favorite stunt in a Western? That's a good question, because there are some fantastic stunts, especially in spaghetti West. The Italian stuntmen. They don't get enough credit. The Italian stuntmen, they're absolutely crazy. They're berserk. And once upon a time in the West, you got that guy just falling down from the roof when Henry Fonda shoots him, and you see it all in one take. He falls from the roof, boom, on the ground. No padding on the ground, nothing. It's crazy. I'll have to think about that. I'll come back to that. There's some fantastic stunts in these Westerns, and not just in the Westerns, but also in the Italian Eurocrime films. There's fantastic car chases and stuff, and people walking across the rooftops and all that stuff. Like Maurizio Merli, who did a lot of the Eurocrime. He did his own stunts a lot of the time, Maurizio Merli, and it's crazy. Just watch a lot of the Italian genre films. Great stunts, yeah. Yes, that's one that I do love. I absolutely love and adore The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, John Wayne, Lee Marvin, and Jimmy Stewart as well. Larry, the myth, the man, the legend. And it's 10:24 from Mike. There you go. Anytime I hear the word Chinaman, I think of when in the Rumble of the Bronx, when somebody says "kill the Chinaman," they're actually talking to Jackie Chan over the phone. Yeah. And here, this bit, stepping on each other's boots, and then Eastwood just punches Lee Van Cleef. And then, yeah, the shooting of the hats. That's, again, a lot of, like, little slapstick humor bits and in very quick succession here in this film. Where we had the the crazy old prophet who provides some slapstick humor. Then we had the Chinaman. Now we have the shooting of the hats going on, which, again, it's not really my kind of humor, this overt slapstick, but, you know, I'm more of a, you know, my humor is, you know, get 3 coffins ready, shoots 4 guys, comes back. My mistake, 4 coffins. That's my kind of humor. You know, I'm more of the dark-witted humor kind of guy. Hey, Matt is here. Buckwell 316. We will have a premiere later on in the evening with an interview with our very own Gareth Video Tasty. So that's coming up tonight on his channel. Hey everyone, the entrance fee is ridiculous. A few dollars more, I can't afford your prices. Well, would you sell it for a fistful of dollars then? Anyway, welcome, Matt. Chinaman always reminds me of Walter in Lebowski. Big Lebowski. The dude abides. When the legend becomes fact, print the legend. Yes, I know, but again, just illustrating the point that that's much more my humor, my kind of sense of humor. Let's have another energy drink. It was early for me too. I only just woke up before the Fistful of Dollars stream because I was working until 3 a.m. this morning. Now it's time for Lee Van Cleef to do some hat shooting. I do like the shot of the hat being in the air, and Van Cleef just shoots and kind of balances in the air. Yeah. Larry. Another great Morricone punctuation to the music here. That contraption nearly put you in your grave. Forgetting one thing, Colonel, I was shooting at your hat. Stacy is asking what is Clint Eastwood's best non-dirty, heavy, non-Western role, or a couple of them. I love Gran Torino. I love $1 Million Baby. Dave will make a case for Firefox. I do like Honky Tonk Man. I quite enjoy that quite a bit. Obviously, you have The Gauntlet, which is fantastic. The Rookie. Let's see. Where Eagles Dare and Callie's Heroes are fantastic. Coogan's Bluff. There's many. Heartbreak Ridge. Sergeant Connery Highway. There's many. There's loads. Speaking of which, yeah, there you go. Heartbreak Ridge. Energy drink and cigarettes keeping me going. Yes, that's exactly what it's doing for me. My stomach is beginning to growl a bit, so I'm getting hungry. So in the next intermission, I'll definitely get my dinner break in, that's for sure. Or get something to eat. Can't get over John Wayne made a Western with a cat. Which one is that? Can't think right now, but yeah. Yeah, play Missy for me. That's another good one. Oh shit, he's... Go away, you. Like I said, no disturbo. No disturbo. I'm a huge fan of Play Missy for me, of course. Yeah, Hang 'em High. Yeah, that's a Western though, but yeah. That's a good one. And Heartbreak Ridge. For sure. Revenge of the Creature. That's one of his early ones. Yeah, just like Tarantula. If you were on a boat with 2 other guys and 4 cigarettes and no matches, how do you manage to smoke? You got me there. A lighter? If we don't have matches, do we have a lighter? Do we make a campfire or something, maybe? Again, if you have no matches, how the fuck do you do that? Is it a steamboat? Because they usually have a boiler with like a fireplace. Maybe I'll get the light from there. What's your favorite Western with a cat in it? There is a cat in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Clint Eastwood is, when Eli Wallach shoots the guy in the bathtub, when you have to shoot, don't talk. And then it cuts to Clint Eastwood. He's petting a cat, a little kitten, I guess. Every gun makes its own tune. So I guess The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That has a cat, technically. Let's reenact that bit. Every gun makes its own tune. Perfect timing, right one. Another died out subgenre, the war adventure. Yeah, the Man on a Mission films, yeah. Why are you looking at me when you say one of us? Because they don't know you. And I think we're going to get the flashback as well here with Mortimer's flashback. Go away, you. I said non disturbo. Okay. Well, I've watched True Grit recently. I don't remember a cat, so it must be Rooster Cogburn then, which I haven't seen in donkey's ages. I have to rewatch that one. John Wayne Pup scene in Brannigan, exactly like it is in the UK for real, like a docu. I do like Brannigan. I got that one on Blu-ray as well. I do like Brannigan. Yeah. What Western did John Wayne do with a cat? I know Big Jake is with a dog. Yeah, I fucking love Big Jake. Yeah, that's a great film. Go away, you. He's getting annoying now. Fucking go. Shoo. It is 1993. Clint Eastwood backs out of In the Line of Fire. Who do you cast instead? Well, again, I don't like to do these what-if castings, but I cannot see anybody but Clint Eastwood. That's the problem. I'm not good at these fantasy casting bits. Who can do that in 1993? Well, Bronson was too old, and he already did a Protect the President film. Maybe Mel Gibson. But no, that wouldn't make sense because the character's supposed to be an aging. No, that wouldn't make sense. I don't know. You throw one cig overboard and make the boat a cigarette lighter. There you go. Oh, shit. James Garner, James Coburn, Meryl Streep. What's that in reference to? You have to clarify that. If you're gonna shoot, don't talk. Yeah, I love that scene as well. Oh yeah, here with the flashback. I have some trivia about this, obviously, because the woman here, I think it's Rosemary Dexter. She's done another Euro Western. She's also in The Dirty Outlaws. But the guy, the Lee Van Cleef's brother-in-law, as the flashback will reveal later on in the film. He's played by German actor Peter Lee Lawrence, born as Karl Heirenbach. And he did tons of spaghetti westerns on his own. He actually went on to become a leading man in spaghetti westerns. He's actually uncredited for this one, but this is the very first appearance of Peter Lee Lawrence. Now let's go to the book because he has done tons of spaghetti westerns, like I said. Let's give you a bio on this guy that's going to get shot here in just a second. Let's see. Peter Lee Lawrence. No, that's... Guess we have to go to the L for him. Here's Peter Lee Lawrence. Yeah. Another tragic ending to this actor because he also died very young. He was only 30 years old when he died. In 1974, he was born in 1945. Let's see. Born as Karl Heirenbach. And blonde-haired boyish German lead who made his first appearance, uncredited, as the ill-fated suitor of Lee Van Cleef's sister and For a Few Dollars More. Adopting a Audie Murphy-like persona, he starred or co-starred as affecting young Avengers or sharp-witted, fresh-faced gunfighters in a string of westerns, with his role as the psychopathic Avenger in Gringo being a welcome departure. Yes, I do love that one. Once married to Spanish actress Cristina Galbo, who also co-starred with him in one of his spaghetti westerns, he committed suicide upon learning that he had a brain tumor, so a tragic ending to his life as well. But of course, his Euro Western credits include For a Few Dollars More, Days of Violence, Fury of Johnny Kidd, which is probably my personal favorite of the ones that he done. The Man Who Killed Billy the Kid, that's another great one. 32 caliber, Killer Caliber 32. There you go. Try saying that 10 times fast. A Gun for 100 Graves, Killer Adios, One Against One, No Mercy, Death on a High Hill, Goringo, Clumsy Hands, More Dollars for the McGregors, Viva Sabata, Four Pistols for Trinity, Hands Up Dead Man You're Under Arrest, God in Heaven, Arizona on Earth, and Prey of the Vultures in 1972. So that's Peter Lee Lawrence's bio, who was again the guy that gets killed in the flashback. He's had a spaghetti western career on his own after this. This might be an ultimate man geek question, but what 6 action stars would you have for a Man on a Mission film? Ooh, that is a excellent question. Definitely Clint, definitely Charlie B. I would throw Steve McQueen in as well. Lee Van Cleef. Gotta be in there. I love Lee Van Cleef, not just for the westerns, but yeah, just badass in general. Let's throw Burt Reynolds in there as well. Let's have one of the generation after that. Let's have Sly Stallone in there. And I think that would be, yeah, that would be a great cast, wouldn't it? Burt Reynolds could have done it in 93, but he did Cop and a Half. Yeah, less said about that, the better. Love John Wayne, this film, The Cowboys. With the Cowboys is great. That's another fantastic one from the 70s. Bruce Dern, yeah. Bruce the Cogburl, haven't seen that in years. Yeah, same here. I do have it on DVD. That was an ad-lib by Eli, yeah. Dudikoff, Speakman, Roundtree, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, and Bronson. Oh, yeah, that's a good cast as well, yeah. There you go. Okay. Wait, Meryl Streep as a bodyguard? Okay. Yeah, Rosemary Daxter. She's also in the Giallo Eye in the Labyrinth. I don't think I've seen that one yet. I think that's on 88 Films. I got to get that. That's one that I haven't seen yet. The first time I read Bronson was the first choice. The first time I read Bronson was the first choice for Escape from New York. Yes, I think he was one of the names mentioned. Now I'm never saw it. I would love to. Yeah, that would be cool if Bronson. But again, Bronson wasn't doing supporting roles at that point. He was still, a big action star. But then for Canon at that point, I guess. Or he was starting to become a Canon film star at that point, anyway. Now, here's the part of the film where originally the intermission would have played for this film if this was played theatrically. When Clint goes up the stairs and he says, there's going to be any shooting. I got to get my rest. You hear the music? That's where the intermission would have been if, when this film played theatrically. Okay, there you go. Mention Street because I'm sort of a feminist. There you go. Hooper, yeah, Stick. Those are still some Reynolds films that I have to see, to be honest. I know Gareth raves about Hooper and Stick. There's still quite a few Birds that I have to see, to be honest. How amazing is it that Wes Craven made a film with Meryl Streep? Wow, I actually did not know of this. That means I haven't seen the film then. Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, this is the point where the intermission would have been. So this is halfway through the film now. Who said I was joking? Too bad you have to die. There's Clint being a badass again, shooting down these guys. Flipping the punch over. Up. Yeah, Ironweed. Ironweed wasn't. I wasn't the biggest fan of Ironweed, but I do like Nicholson and Meryl Streep. Yeah, but I wasn't the biggest fan of the film itself. This guy is also in The Good, the Bad. Again, a lot of these faces they appear in all 3 of the films. But the guy on the right that was just shot down there, he's the guy in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. He rolls up the poster. He's like, "Hey, amigo, you got a face beautiful enough to be worth $2,000? Yeah, but you don't look like the one who collected." That guy. Yeah, that was he was in this scene as well. Man, I love that soundtrack. My favorite intermission story was when I saw a re-release of Dr. Zhivago. Really needed a pee. Waiting as long as I could. I went on the toilets, came back and sat down, and the intermission came. Oh wow, you missed it. Never thought they would keep the intermission on a re-release. Yeah. I actually got to go for a pee, but I'm holding it in. It's not too bad yet. I can still hold for a bit. Any which way will lose. Yeah, every which way will lose, and any which way you can. Right turn, Clyde. I forgot that I actually have some behind-the-scenes pictures, or well, some stills anyway. Now, you do see there on the, probably for you guys, right-hand side of the screen, you see that cool shot there of Kinski and Eastwood. Yeah, I mean, there's actually a picture of Clint Eastwood and Klaus Kinski together. Now, why has nobody ever asked Clint about working with Klaus? Because I'm sure Clint would have a good story to tell about Klaus. Especially since obviously they were, together at some point there, as you can see from that picture. I just found this picture. I was like, that's so interesting. I want to be a fly on the wall when those two had a conversation. You know what I mean? It's yeah. Because I think Kinski did know English. He, with a fake accent, no doubt, but he did know English. Yeah, the Black Widows, yeah. Are we mean? Yeah, we're Black Widows. Yeah. I love the scene in the second one where they, have the Thor accident and they have wigs on and stuff, yeah. And again, I love the widescreen photography here of the Almeria Desert. Now, Almeria, Spain, Spain isn't all too far from me, In theory, I could drive to Spain in a car, it's only like, what, 10, 11, 12 hours, whatever, car drive, I guess. Maybe a bit longer because this is all the way down in the south of Spain. But this is a location that I could conceivably visit one day, the desert. The desert is still there, pretty much still untouched, pretty much as it is here. Maybe a little bit more overgrown with some of the vegetation and stuff, but the desert is still there. So, and it is on my list of places to visit. The Almeria Desert. So maybe one day. Is Ellen Barkin's performance in Sea of Love one of your top 25 female performances? I'd have to think about that, but it's definitely a good one. I have to think about that, yeah. I know I've said this a billion times, but Clint Eastwood is one of the few people that can play a cowboy and live with an orangutan and it seemed believable. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Clint's horse in this one is kind of, I don't know, the horse is a little jittery or whatever the word is, because he constantly has the mouth moving, this horse. It's like, I think that horse is hungry or thirsty, or the horse is talking. Maybe it's like the Mr. Ed horse, But his horse, I noticed that constantly moves his mouth. Yeah. The Kinski spoke English in the 80s quarrels. Yeah, but that was later on though. But in the 60s, I think he already did know some English. Maybe he was able to converse with Clint on the set, maybe with Lee Van Cleef. He definitely. There's an interview with him on the David Letterman show of all people, where Kinski actually bizarrely acted very normal. Like, there's no nonsense in that interview with Dave Letterman. Kinski was on his best behavior. That's kind of creepy. that guy is even more creepy when he tries to be normal. But yeah, he spoke in English, of course, on the Dave Letterman show. But in the '60s, I think he might have already known a bit of English. The Deadpool. Welcome to the jungle. Yeah, Jim Carrey. Yeah. Now this town, by the way, then again, Carlos see me. El Paso. This town, this western town with the bank and everything, with the saloon, it still stands in the Almeria Desert. It's now kind of turned into like a theme park, like mini Hollywood is what they call it. But the actual set built for few dollars more, it still exists. So again, Almeria, Spain, southern Spain. It's on my list of holiday locations. That's for sure. And it's well, of all the destinations on my list, it's probably the closest to me as well. So it's definitely one that might be one of the first places I'll visit. Maybe within a year or so. Maybe within 2 years. It's on my list. Things to do in the very foreseeable future. That is. Yeah. Yeah. Could take us for a live driving tour of Spain. Yeah, that's an idea. Maybe a video or two in a film there with the outfit on there. Could be. I passed on the chance of going to Almeria with my mates, which I still regret. Oh, you had the chance to be there. That's awesome. Yeah, you definitely should have taken that. I mean, for me, it's funny. I mentioned this to a good buddy of mine who watched the film, who watched these films with me not too long ago. Because, again, it's almost... if I told you guys how many times I watched these films, you guys would have me committed to an insane asylum, I'm sure. But no, not all too long ago, I was watching these films with a buddy of mine. And I said to him, like, I want to go there. I want to go to the desert. And this buddy of mine, he knows that I'm not a big fan of heat. Now I got the air conditioning on here in the room because it's pretty fucking hot. It's not even the hottest day of the year at this point, but I'm not good with heat. I'm not a big fan of heat and sunlight and stuff. And he says, so you don't like heat, but you want to go to a freaking desert? I'm like, yeah, it's a fucking epic movie location, man. I want to be there. I want to see this up close, firsthand. There's a beautiful landscape there. But yeah, that's fun. So I don't like heat, but I do want to go to the desert. So there you go. Yeah, I love Crawl Space. That is a good name for a band, yeah. And I've heard that it's pretty much playing himself. Yeah, he's pretty much yeah. Ah, yes, I believe you've mentioned that. Yes, somebody from Dave's hometown is in the Deadpool. Russell said in SU, Jerry Lewis was Jim. Yeah, Jerry Lewis is a legend. Yeah. Rodney Dangerfield gave Jim Carrey a start. There you go. Being from Texas, I hate the heat and sun, Jeff. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's also a byproduct of a lot of night shifts over the years. Like, yeah, that's why I'm so fucking pale as well. For the last 7 years, I haven't seen a lot of sunlight because, yeah, usually I'm sleeping during the day, working at night. That has changed since last year, though. Now I'm working more in the evenings and stuff, and I'm up during the daytime, but yeah. At least the films you have watched are a lot are respectable. Honestly, I've seen a remake of Psycho so much, it's embarrassing. Oh, there you go. No, I mean, honestly, if I told you guys how many times I've watched Just the Good, the Bad, the Ugly in the last month since the Arrow release came my way, I probably watched it 5 or 6 times this last month since early August when I got the Good, the Bad, the Ugly edition. I watched the theatrical cut for the first time, which I had never watched before. I've only watched the extended version before. Then I watched the extended version without the grotto. I watched the extended version with the grotto again. Then I watched even more extended with the extended torture scene. And then just 3 days ago, I watched the full 3 hour cut where they even included some more footage that was previously lost. So over the last month alone, I've already watched The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly 5 times. It's gonna be 6, later on, of course. So yeah, 6, perfect number, because I got 6 more bullets in my gun. Sam Kennedy, yeah, that's another legend, indeed. There we go. The robbery of the El Paso Bank. It's a great soundtrack that plays there. The Vice of Killing is what it's called on the soundtrack, which is the very first Morricone track where Ada Del Orso, the famous soprano singer, she actually lent her voice to this one. She, of course, famously lends her voice in the soprano bits of Ecstasy of Gold and Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and also in Jill's theme in Once Upon a Time in the West, just to name a few. And this is the first time that she sang on the Morricone track. And it sounds fantastic. It kind of has a little Ecstasy of Gold vibe to it, this song, I must say. It's kind of like a trial run for the Ecstasy of Gold in some ways. Dave was saying I watched the 4K re-release of Santa Claus the movie at the cinema a year ago. Oh, that's awesome. When I got home, I watched the 4K disc to make comparisons. Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait till we get to that scene. It's going to be in, 5 hours from now, but still. That is a banger. I've been listening to all the soundtracks of these films for the last week, just pretty much on a loop. During work, I got my earbuds in. I'm listening to the soundtrack as I'm working via Bluetooth on the car radio, and in my own car, I got the CDs of these films, of the soundtracks playing. The soundtracks I'm more than intimately familiar with at this point. Again, like I said in the previous stream, I listen to Morricone soundtracks like other people listen to pop soundtracks or pop songs and rock songs and stuff. Like movie soundtracks is probably my favorite genre of music. It's soundtracks. Don't get me wrong, I love rock songs and pop whatever as much as the next guy, but mostly my musical taste is gravitating towards soundtracks. I gotta go for a refill soon. Now this mountain here, where or this cliff, whatever it is, where Eastwood and I wanted to say Eli Wallach, but that's the next one. Lee Van Cleef meet is the same cliff that Eli Wallach travels to in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly as well. And when I get to Almeria in the desert, this is definitely one of the places I want to do a little shot of that mountain, because it's an iconic shot in both films. The coyote sound in The Good was done by 2 people. Yeah, it's that. I'm sorry about that for headphone users. Yeah. No, that's a few things that create that sound. There's people singing it. There's also a little, there's a little, like, I don't know what the instrument is, but there's also like a flute thing that does it. Yeah, there's a few things that make that coyote sound, but and there's different versions of it. Yeah, for Tuco he has a different one. Blondie has a different one, and also Angel Eyes has a different. Yeah. Night Owl 2, I can read 8 screenplays a day that way. Awesome. That is awesome. Man, just all these faces, the close-ups, you know, Kinski there, Luigi Pistilli, John Maria Volante. This bit, by the way, they're standing here by these palm trees. Now, these palm trees, they were imported to Almeria for the production of Lawrence of Arabia. Lawrence of Arabia, they shot portions of it in the Almeria desert, and they used those palm trees for that film, and they left them there. So by the time these spaghetti westerns happened, they were like, hey, the palm trees from Lawrence of Arabia are still here. Let's use them for our film. So yeah, these were not made by the Italians, these palm trees. They were not originally there, these palm trees, but they're there thanks to courtesy of Lawrence of Arabia, which I think these palm trees are still there. Actually, nobody removed them over the years, which is, yeah. So if you go to Almeria and you see palm trees, those are the same palm trees that are on this film that were used in Lawrence of Arabia. So there you go, another bit of trivia for you all. Because, yeah, palm trees are not native to the Spanish desert, in case you didn't know. There are 7 spaghetti westerns I already saw at least 5 times before I turned 13 years old. This trilogy, Once Upon a Time in the West, the 2 Trinity films, and My Name is Nobody. Yeah, they were shown on Dutch TV all the time. There you go. Oh, another one, Death Rides a Horse. There you go. Yeah, for me, when I was 13, I got 12 or 13, I must have been, that's when I saw Fistful of Dollars for the first time on TV. And that made me a fan, and I went out and got, for a few dollars more, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly on DVD. Couldn't find the DVD for Fistful for a long time. Finally got that as well later on. Oh, shit. The cat is fucking clawing at me now. Where was I going? Oh, yeah, then, of course, we upgraded to the Blu-rays, and now we finally have them on 4K, courtesy of Arrow Video. Going to Agua Caliente. Now, Agua Caliente is pretty much the same town that was used in Fistful of Dollars as well. The same kind of, the same village, I should say. Going to town alone, amigo. And again, Ada Del Orso, soprano, taking us in here. Tangerine Dream made good soundtracks. Favorite is Thief for James Gunn. Yes, I know that's a favorite of yours, Russell. Yeah, Jim Belushi, Robert Prosky, the first film. There you go. Pick 2 of 5 for a serious western. Villain role, banker type, Jim Carrey. Oh, serious role, villain, Jim Carrey, Chevy Chase, Richard Dreyfuss, Dennis Quaid, Luke Wilson. Two or 5. Okay, I see. Serious western villain role. I think Jim Carrey could make a good villain, actually, so I'll go with Carrey. And yeah, Richard Dreyfuss, why not? Yeah. You shouldn't have shot the apples on that tree. Yeah, I do like this bit coming up here. And again, I'm just enamored by the music that's playing right now. Saw the Dollars films in the late 80s on television, and Django and the Great Silence in the early 90s. Yeah, that's when they got released in the UK, finally, because they were... I think the Great Silence maybe wasn't, but Django was definitely banned in the UK until the 90s, so... Yeah, for years, people in the UK couldn't really see Django, which is a shame because it's a fucking awesome film. Movie Drum, Alex Cox. Yeah, Alex Cox is a big Western fan and a big champion and advocate for these spaghetti Westerns. So we do owe a lot to Alex Cox because, yeah, he brought a lot of attention to these films. He's a big spokesperson for these spaghetti Westerns. My favorite joke about Lawrence of Arabia is if Peter O'Toole was more attractive, it should have been called Florence of Arabia. "69-year-old Western fan." Tangerine Dream's Legend soundtrack is great. I don't think I've listened to that. I gotta give that a listen. Is that for Ridley Scott's Legend? Gotta give that a proper listen, actually. Anytime somebody mentions Tangerine Dream, I remember somebody worked in a guitar shop near me. Also said the guitarists from that band in there came in once to buy guitar strings. Ooh, There you go. That's awesome. It's a small world. You never know, right? Yeah. No worries. Hang on, I'm going to read this in a second. I'm just going to go for a quick bathroom break because the pressure is getting to me now. I'll be back in a second. Took advantage of that, so got some more to drink. There we go. I don't know how Gareth does all these streams without going to the bathroom once. That guy's a legend. Maybe he has a tube injected his skin. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just speculating. Anyway, I was gonna go and read that comment. When I was 7, no joke. Okay. A neighbor kid was playing at our house, and my father started watching Lawrence of Arabia. I was so mesmerized by the first few scenes that I faked I was ill. My friend. And I watched the movie with my dad. Oh, went home. There you go. My friend went home and I watched the movie with my dad. I believe it. I believe it. It's a powerful film. I love the film. Got to give it a much overdue rewatch. It's been a while, but yeah, it's a great one. It's a good one. And here we have the Kinski. 10 minutes, you'll be smoking in hell. Speaking of which, let's smoke one. Best non-violent scenes in Western history. The opening of Once Upon a Time in the West. Claudia Cardinal arriving at the train station in Once Upon a Time in the West. Every time when she walks past the station and the camera goes to the station window, she's talking to the station manager and the music swells and the camera goes up right in sync with the music. Every time I watch that scene, the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. It's fantastic. Those would be two, and in this case, from Once Upon a Time in the West. Not long ago, me and my mate was in a pub talking about Moviedrome, and I said nobody remembers that show, and the person sitting on the table next to me, said I do. There you go. So sadly, we've had Klaus Kinski's exit from the film. So that was Kinski. But we do now have all characters converging together. We have Van Cleef, John Maria Volonté, and Clint Eastwood now together. All of them in the same, occupying the same space. Same matter cannot occupy the same space, but these three guys can. There we go. Let's give us a refill. I'm going to be having a whiskey for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Seems appropriate as we're watching Westerns. And by then I'll have some food in me, so yeah. My favorite Tangerine Dream score. Let's adjust my camera because it's blocking my view. There we go. There's a fly in the room. Son of a bitch. My favorite Tangerine Dream score at the moment is the one for Firestar in my iPod. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Terence Hill eating a plate full of beans in the opening of Trinity. Love that scene. Yes, we all know I'm not the biggest Trinity fan, but hey, you know what? to each their own. I'm glad you're a fan. I'm glad it has fans. You know, I'm just not one of them personally, but yeah. Fucking fly. Buzz off. Pun intended. Yeah, it's Matt O'Gav doesn't need the bathroom. I've been about 3 times already. I'm drinking beer. That's okay. There you go. Yeah, when you drink beer, that yeah. I just assumed I was no, not on an empty stomach. You know, I haven't eaten anything except for yeah, a little bit of bread. You know, breakfast sandwich, right? But that's about it. I've not had anything major in my stomach yet. So and I'm gonna have a good dinner break in between this one and the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and then we're gonna get some whiskey in. It is a whiskey glass or shot glass. It's my cool sliced alone shop Rambo. Where is it? Bullet edged glass. So there's an actual bullet in this glass. So it is one of my favorite glasses to drink from. I use it pretty much every day, even when I'm not drinking alcohol. Blood Jerky hard to believe that Warner Bros. Will pass. They have a window to negotiate before the Berlin appointments are set. Then Sony has a chance at it. Universal has a chance, but we shall see. Okay. That's the one you mentioned earlier, right? Yeah. We shall see, indeed. Okay. Other favorite non-violent scene, Ricky Nelson. Yes, that is a good one. Rio Bravo, where he's singing. Yeah. My horse, my pony, my rifle, and me. That's it. Yeah. I do love that scene as well. I would agree there. Yeah. Rio Bravo. That's a great film. 20 films are okay. I'm not the only one. Yes, I'm not the biggest slapstick fan as well. So yeah. But hey, you know, each their own tastes and opinions and stuff. It's all good. It's all good. It would be so boring if we all like the same things. It would be so boring if you all dislike the same things, right? It's yeah. It's part of life. we don't all like the same things. We don't all dislike the same things. It's you know, each opinion is respected and honored. So you know. Even if I don't necessarily agree with it. So, why don't I make it easy for myself and sit back a little bit? There we go. Now, is this? I've always wondered: is this Eastwood with blackface on to make it look like he's in the dark? Because it looks like he has black makeup all over his face. It's always been weird to me, this shot of Eastwood here. Thank you, Stacy. Fun to enjoy. Great streamers. Thank you. I try. I'm not as good as Gareth, but then again, that guy is a fucking legend. You know, with all the interviews he does and the fact that he never uses the bathroom during a stream. It's yeah, I can only commend him for all that stuff. Yeah, I guess it's day for night. Maybe a little bit. Definitely the indoor bit where Eastwood had the blackface thing going on. It does look a lot blue in right there, but not to my eyes. Don't forget, we grew up on Hill and Spencer. That duo would never have become popular if they would have been introduced in this modern era. That is also very true. Yeah, they are very popular in the Netherlands. Again, just not for little old me. There's a time and place for everything. Yeah, exactly. Here's again Eastwood getting caught, just like in Fistful of Dollars, he gets caught by Gian Maria Volonti. And we have another one of, again, what I refer to as the spaghetti beat-up scene coming up. This time, both Eastwood and Van Cleef will get beaten up by the baddies. We shouldn't have shot the apples on that tree. Van Cleef gets caught by Mario Brega. Yeah, here's another. The hero's getting beat up by the bad guys while a lot of maniacal laughing is going on. You know, all that stuff, yeah. So any film you prefer to watch on DVD or VHS, the original Texas Chainsaw for me is something I prefer to watch on VHS. I can see that because of the Grindhouse aesthetic to it. Even though I have the 4K. I only have the Blu-ray for Texas Chainsaw myself. I don't have that on VHS. I do have VHS tapes, and I still have a player up in the loft, but I don't think I can connect it to my fancy schmancy 4K tellies. I don't think it has the SCART cable connection anymore, so I don't think I can play the VHSs anymore. Same with comedians like Fernandel, Luis de Funes, Pierre Richard, big stars over here in Europe back in the day, totally unknown to most of the rest of the world. Gotta be honest, even I've not heard of them. So, but then again, that might be a generational thing as well. Yeah, all the baddies laughing maniacally. I love those spaghetti beat-up scenes. I should do a top 10 spaghetti beat-down scenes or beat-up scenes. Because it happened in pretty much every spaghetti western where the hero gets tortured or either beaten up like this. And you have the baddies all in a circle laughing around him. And the heroes get tossed from one baddie to the other and both, you know, and getting punched and stuff. Yeah. Here's another bit that was cut from the MGM DVD, but the German Blu-ray had it. And then our video reinstated it as well here. So that's why there was a little bit of a quality drop there at the end of that scene. Because I was originally not there for the other DVD releases. French movies. Okay, there you go. French movie stars. I did figure that by the very French sounding names. There you SCART to. Yes, I do think there is. Yeah, I do think that option is available. Yeah, I think I actually use that for my PS2. I have a PS2 that has, you know, an HDMI converter thingy on it. So yeah. I still have pretty much every PlayStation console. I have the PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, and PS5. So yeah, I do need connections for those devices, but if they can work, I can definitely get a VHS working. I've got the strange thing about Friday the 13th Part 2. Whenever I watch it, I watch my big box VHS. I just love that. Is great artwork. I know the exact one you're talking about too. Yeah. Hey, Double A is there. Hey, Double A, what's up? I don't think I can do Edward G. Robinson, though. I'm assuming you mean as an impression. No, I definitely can't. No. Gendarme of Saint Tropez, Don Camillo, Father's Day, Free Fugitives, Pure Luck. No, these are all. No, never heard of them. I'm sorry to say. Would you rather be an astronaut or a cowboy? Well, definitely a cowboy. I remember, movie-wise, like I said, Open Range from 2003 and Fistful of Dollars, they were my big introduction to Western films. But as a kid, I enjoyed playing Red Revolver, pretty much a spaghetti Western-based video game on PS2 and Xbox and those consoles, GameCube probably. So Red Revolver was my very first child introduction to the Western genre, and it was a video game. But I remember I loved it so much that every time there was carnival here in the Netherlands, I would dress up as a cowboy because I just loved the cowboys from Red Revolver. There's actually, if I can find them for the third stream, I will show them. There's actually pictures of me as a very young child dressed up as a cowboy for carnival, again, which is kind of similar to the carnival in Rio de Janeiro, a little bit like Mardi Gras, I guess, in New Orleans, where people dress up and stuff. There's actually pictures of me of young Jeff in a full cowboy getup, with the little cap guns, 6 shooters as well and stuff. So yeah, if I can find it, I will show that in the first stream. But yeah, as a kid, I always wanted to be a cowboy too. Make a long story short, there, I guess. Nice one, Mike. About Fred. Yeah, indeed. Well, if you watch the podcast that I've done on Blazing Saddles, I think we have a difference of opinion there, which is okay. I'm not a big fan of Blazing Saddles. Can you place Seagal in a Western? Ooh, definitely not nowadays. Maybe in the 90s, yeah. If you had to live in a Western as a cowboy, which one would it be? Definitely the Leone West, because yeah, that's more stylized. It's more. I guess how I imagine it would have actually been in the West. It's not the clean cut towns of the John Ford westerns. The West was rough and tough and stuff, and that's what Leone really captured with the spaghetti westerns. So it will probably be the West of Sergio Leone that I would love to be in if I was a actual cowboy. I mean, I got the outfit for it, so I think Mike knows about Blazing Saddles when it comes to my opinion on it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The holsters as well, yeah. Still can't get over when I was a kid. I honestly thought I would like to be an astronaut, but I bet even now I couldn't fill out the application form. Yeah. It's probably more practical and more, I don't know, more meaningful to the world if people became an astronaut instead of wanting to be a cowboy. Because as an astronaut, you can read, you can discover things in the universe and stuff, and it's more helpful to humanity, I guess, if one wants to be an astronaut. In terms of science research and whatever, all that stuff. But again, I have to get me some of those matches that you can strike on anything, like Gianmaria Volante, just boom across the stone wall that he's standing or leading on there. I have to get me some of those strike anywhere matches. You could be Captain Malcolm on Firefly and be a cowboy and an astronaut. Oh, there you go. Yeah, cowboy and astronaut the same. There you go. And here we have, sadly, the last scene for Aldo Sambrell in this one. Like I said, this is probably his best, or his biggest, I should say, role in these Sergio Leone films. Because, again, he's a character in this one. He actually has a character name, Cuchillo. He uses a knife, mostly, instead of a gun. It's the only one where he has a name in these three films, because he's pretty much the second baddie from the left in the Rojo gang in Fistful. And he's pretty much one of Angel Eyes' flunkies in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And this one, he has a character. He actually has dialogue. So that's why I did the Aldo Sambrell bio for this film. And this is definitely his biggest scene, which is also his last scene. Cast one in a Western remake of your choosing. Kid Rock, Axl Rose, Rosie Perez. Again, I don't like remakes. Not in general anyway. So I don't know. A remake of this one I would not want. I would not want a remake of any of these of the Leone ones. I would not want a remake of High Noon. I would not want a remake of. Well, I wanted to say Magnificent Seven, but there already is a remake of that, sadly. I don't know. I don't really do remakes, so yeah. That's a tough one. Cuchillo. Yeah, this is really what Gianmaria Volonté goes crazy in this scene here. Oh, he killed, yeah. And then, I want it back right now. Yeah, he's going all over the top right here in this scene. And apparently that's what Sergio Leone and him were kind of fighting about. It's like he was a very theatrical actor. He did like to go over the top and stuff. Maybe he was the Al Pacino of his time, if you excuse the analogy there. Yeah, he does go over the top here in this scene and quite a few times in the film. But that's apparently where he and Sergio Leone had a few clashes on this film, because Leone was like, well, tone it down, don't be so over the top. And he would actually do like, 20, 30 takes just to kind of wear Volonté down, just so he can get a more distilled performance instead of like the over the top one. But for scenes like this, he would just let Gianmaria Volonté go crazy. But that was one of the things where they kind of had disagreements about, is the should I go over the top or not? Or I guess Volonté just is an over the top kind of guy, or was an over the top kind of guy. My dad used to go to the pub dressed as a cowboy with fake guns. I'm amazed. Yeah, I'm amazed he didn't get arrested as well, because I think the UK is even stricter on firearms or fake guns or replica guns or whatever than it's over here. I mean, over here it's already pretty taboo when it comes to that. You know, if you carry a fake gun, you better have like an orange little tip on the barrel, because otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, you will get arrested. Winnetou, yes, those are some of the first European westerns. Actually, is the Winnetou films. Was the first introduction to western for most Europeans. Ramon's age, is what he says. They were shot in Croatia, Yugoslavia. That is very true. Most of them were. Yeah, Terence Hill, Kinski, and Mario Adolph all appeared in the Winnetou films. Yes, that is very true. Those are some of the very first European westerns, Euro westerns. Are the Winnetou films. They were very popular. Very popular. Firefly. Yeah. First horror I saw was the Killer Shrews with James Best, 1959. I've never seen or heard of it, so yeah, that's definitely another one. That's definitely another one I would have to add to my ever-increasing list of things to watch or track down. Yeah, I did mention that earlier. Obviously, Leone did not know what marijuana did to a person. You won't go crazy or turn aggressive from. Well, maybe some people do. Maybe that. I mean, let's be honest. Every drug affects every person differently, I guess. Again, it's kind of legalized here in the Netherlands as marijuana, right? I tried it once in my teens. I'm usually kind of a quiet, calm person, right? Like, what you see is what you get. What you see right there. When I had a spliff with some of my mates, it turned me kind of hyper, if that makes sense. It had no good effect on me, so that's why I've never done it since. So I mean, it does affect people differently. For me, it made me go almost like I had ADD or something. I was like, kind of. I remember we were actually in a park and I was trying to climb a tree. So that's how crazy I went from smoking it. So yeah. Again, it affects everybody different. But yeah, it probably does not turn everyone aggressive. So yeah, it did not turn me aggressive. So just made me a little hyper. For my German friends, hyper. You will get that reference if you're German. Yes, he is a paranoid schizo. Yeah, that is true. With definitely a Death Wish, I think that's Death Wish. No, that's actually one of the things in one of the audio commentaries that I think either Christopher Frayling or maybe it's who's the other guy that does the commentary on Tim Lucas. It seems like Indio has a death wish. Like he's trying to find the person that's the match for him that can take him down. Ever since that incident in the flashback, it's kind of like he's been wanting to, finally, meet his match, meet his equal. And that's why he constantly challenges people with the watch shine thing and stuff. I think there's something to that. I still think it's interesting that Reefer Madness from the 30 says Marana does to people. There you go. Yeah. I think that was probably the only thing that they had as a reference for drug use when they made this film. Didn't do for me. Did the opposite. In film, however, I love The Breakfast Club, but made 5 teens dancing like Batman after smoking a joint. Yeah. Now, apparently, if you visit the village that they shot this scene in, there's one particular bit here where Clint Eastwood takes cover behind a wall, and you see the bullet holes go into the wall. Apparently, those bullet holes are still there. They never patched up the holes in the wall that are being shot into that little village house, cabin, whatever you want to call it. I've seen one sort of location comparisons video. Like there was a guy on YouTube. He went to the locations and he did like a before and after kind of thing. It looked like the bullet holes were still there, so that's pretty awesome if you ask me. I don't think he did, but that would be awesome. Yeah, Clint Eastwood ever done? No, I don't think he did. I don't think on any of my Clint Eastwood editions there is a commentary by Clint, so I don't think he did. No. Yeah, Canada, the Amsterdam of the North, all legal there. Yes, it's legalized in quite a few states in the U.S. now as well, isn't it? Not nearly all of them, but I think I do know that it's legal in quite a few states now. So. Well, I think you made the point there. I mean, I would like to see. I mean, Clint still has a few years left, maybe. So let's get Clint to do some commentaries. Oh, here we have that awesome scene coming up of Clint deceiving the baddies, putting the hat and poncho on like this little coat rack or whatever it is, and then he's actually sitting in the chair and he does the spin in the chair and then bam, 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 bam. Gonna give that a close up. Boom. Love that bit. That's kind of like the chair I'm sitting in, actually. Except this one doesn't spin. Reefer Madness is behind the times. Still can't go over somebody from White Christmas was on the commentary track. She must have been 137 years old. Yeah, that is a fucking old film, so yeah. Now we finally get the full flashback of the story behind the chime watch, and then that will link into Lee Van Cleef's character as well. Should be fine. Excuse me. First time I smoked weed and hash was Woodstock '69. Yes, Russell is one of the OGs that has survived and lived through Woodstock and is still here to tell the tales. Yeah. That is awesome. I was 14 or 15, first ecstasy when I was 16. I never had that. The only thing I touched was marijuana. I never had anything harder than that myself. So in the Netherlands back, yeah, a big electro house culture. That is very true, yes. That is very true. So yeah, this is, as Gareth would refer to it, a grape soda sequence with a very bad ending, where she shoots herself as she's being, you know, raped. And now we have Lee Van Cleef. Indio, this is Colonel Mortimer. Douglas Mortimer. Hendrix was last. Hang on. Oh yeah, was last and played the highest he was on after Shanana. There you go. Love Dear God by Ecstasy. Shh. Don't, no. There is, yes, there's a little glimpse as Indio pulls the, yeah. There is. So probably the very first film where you can actually see a boob on screen. Even if it is for like a split second. Now that I've said that, you'll probably go back and pause it. Now we got the big finale coming up here, which is the first of Leone. Let's finish things in a circle, right? Because we got the circle showdown coming up here. We got obviously a big circle showdown in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. A semicircle, I guess, in Once Upon a Time in the West, where they kind of, yeah. So that's kind of became a thing, a motif, if you will, for Leone, which I fucking love. It's yeah. And apparently this little village here in Almeria, Spain, this the village is still there. The houses are a bit more modernized nowadays, but you can expect that, 60 years later. Because yeah, this is the 60th anniversary, by the way, for for A Few Dollars More. This film is now in its 60th anniversary year. So happy 60th to this film. But no, obviously you can expect some things to have changed 60 years later, and the little houses, they do look a bit more modern and stuff. But the circle that they're standing in, the circle is still there as well. So if you go to Almeria, to this little village in Albercox, I think is what it's called, you can actually, yeah, the circle's still there. I have done my research on Almeria because, again, I really want to go there someday. And here we have the awesome final, dual music here by Ennio Morricone. The watch shines, and then as Clint comes in, surprise, with the other pocket watch from Lee Van Cleef. Then we got the awesome guitar again. That stuff. And a great trumpet bit. And again, this is probably the only Sergio Leone final duel that actually makes sense within the context of real time and stuff, because in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, it's just the three guys standing there for no reason other than to be cinematic. In this one, there's actually a diegetic purpose for them standing there waiting to draw their guns, because they have to wait for the pocket watch music to finish. So that's the only duel that makes sense actually in the Leone film. Well, except for Fistful of Dollars, but that was quite a quick one at the end between Ramon Rojo and Joe. But here it makes sense because you're listening to the pocket watch music. Again, it's much more epic and more cinematic in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, but again, within the context of the story, it doesn't really make sense why you're standing there for 7 minutes before drawing a gun, other than to be cinematic once again. which is pure cinema at its best, as the final 20 minutes of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. But we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I love how Eastwood comes in, rifle in one hand, the watch, and he gives Lee Van Cleef his own gun belt. Try this. Now we start. And I gotta high, turn up the volume a little bit because I gotta hear that epic trumpet. I love it. I know I'm supposed to be giving like in-depth commentary about everything, or I try to anyway, but again, I'm just mesmerized by these visuals and music marriages right here. I mean, I know there's not a lot of Quentin Tarantino fans in the chat, and I'm looking mostly at Ramon the Dutch film buff, but one thing I gotta 100% agree with him on. If you have the right piece of music with the right visuals, and it combines perfectly into a seamless marriage between music and visuals, that's about as cinematic as you can get, is pretty much what Tarantino has once said. And it 100% applies to pretty much each of the Leone films. Right here, especially with the final 20 minutes of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the finale of Once Upon a Time in the West, and even that train station scene, like I said, in Once Upon a Time in the West, but just the perfect marriage of music and visuals. It's cinema at its best, and I 100% agree with Tarantino when he said that. I've never seen Five Card Stud. That's one of my. I have not seen that actually. I'm familiar with it. I've heard the title definitely, but I have not seen it. So I will check it out. It's another one I will add to my list. Where's some pictures? Really enjoying the 101 Bronson Dollars Trilogy Day. Thanks for this, Jeff. Oh, no worries. I'm glad you're enjoying. I'm glad people are getting enjoyment out of this. I wasn't expecting as many people to pop up because, again, with the different time zones and with the time, being earlier and stuff, earlier in the afternoon, etc., etc. But no, you guys are troopers. Thanks for tuning in. This would be much more boring if it was just me rattling off the trivia and not having the interaction with you guys. So, and here we have the reveal. Seems to be a family resemblance. Naturally, between brother and sister. In Canada, we carry 30 grams. Comments jumped there. 5-card stud. Bill Stan. Is that Arch Stanton? Arch Stanton. Are you sure? Yeah. Sure, I'm sure. I think you deserve it. What about our partnership? Maybe next time. In The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And I love the music here as well. Adios Colonel, or Addio Colonnello in Italian. It's a great Morricone piece once again. Again, it's kind of redundant to say it at this point, but Morricone, man. Legend. I've said it before, I'll say it again here, just for the record. If heaven exists, they will be playing Ennio Morricone music. This is the music they play in heaven. There you go. Oh, shit, I didn't read that comment. I'm sorry about that. Also grew up in Woodstock. Oh, hang on, I gotta have this final joke here. He shoots Luigi Pistelli, 27. He was counting the amount of money from the bounties. Any trouble, boy? No, old man. Thought I was having trouble with my adding. It's all right now. Anyway, that's the last line of dialogue for this film. So we are at the very end, so I got to wrap up with the comments and stuff before we have our intermission again. Anyway, also grew up in Woodstock, but in a different way, of course. My mom owned the album, 4 LPs, and I listened to that all the time. The Woodstock documentary from 1970 is my favorite documentary of all time. Yes, that is a great one. That is a great one. Can't believe it took me this long to remember, but one of my favorite Western trilogies is Posse, Posse 2, and Outlaw Posse. There you go. Yes, that's another trilogy for sure. Good films. Good bloody films, as Matthew Binney would say. There you go. The music, man. Kind of lowered a little bit. Maybe it's being picked up by the microphone. Only know of Posse. Never knew. Yes, there are. Charlton Heston and Mega Man watches the Woodstock documentary in the cinema by himself. I've not seen the Mega Man. Another one again. Good call, Dutch. Almost nobody does. I almost. Oh yeah, Posse. Yeah, I love that scene. Oh yeah, from a Mega Man. I'm gonna do that in a bit. Hey, Mac Chats. Yes, but in about 30 to 45 minutes, we'll be having the good, the bad, and the ugly. So set your notification for it, because that's coming up after this. Because as we have the credits rolling now on for a few dollars more, it's probably good that the image is a bit blurry there. But yes, welcome, Mac Chats. Just throwing in some great American westerns: Hired Hand, Bad Company, Wild Bunch, of course, Bad Gary Billy Kid, of course, Sherman Johnson, McCabe, and Mrs. Miller. All great ones. All great ones. Posse with Kirk Douglas. Yeah, Posse. Yeah, Kirk Douglas done some good ones. Hey, Blondie! Those who double cross me and leave me alive. They understand nothing about Tuco. Nothing. Anyway, let's go back to Stacy's comment here. Match 2 of the 4 creatures and put 2 in a western, and have who in a western cast fight a creature. Anaconda, Deep Blue Sea if I can fucking talk. Shark. Okay, we can remove the television now because we're back at the main menu. And get rid of the. There we go. And give me a. There we go. It's a big layout. Deep Blue Sea Shark, Grizzly, Mothra. Let's see. Let's have Anaconda and the Shark. No, actually, let's have the Grizzly, because you cannot really have a shark in a desert where most westerns are set. Let's go with the Grizzly. That will make more sense. And who fights it? Let's have an ultimate western team of Clint Eastwood and John Wayne. There you go. The final act is a massive riot. That is Dog Day Afternoon. Natural Born Killers, Die Hard, really crazy. Yeah, those are great, great films and great third acts. Yeah. Coen Brothers remake of True Grit. That's one remake that I've not seen actually. I do like the original with John Wayne. I don't overly love it. I don't see why he won the Oscar for it, because it's just John Wayne with an eye patch. But I have heard good things about the remake, so I will have to check it out, even though I'm not, again, the biggest fan of remakes. But it is one that I will probably check out at some point. The Proposition is one of my favorites. I've seen The Proposition, though. That's good. Yeah, that's a good one. Snowpiercer stole the idea from Soylent Green. Is that for... yeah, I get it. Soylent Green, yeah. That was a tough one indeed, Sean. Australian Western, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Luca, just like Luca Brasi. Dutch Hello, there we go. So yeah, for a fistful of dollars, I give that 8.5 stars. For a few dollars more, I'll probably give 9 stars. Now, as the trilogy only gets better and better with each installment, it will obviously be a much higher score once we get to the next one, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So I will probably be back upstairs in the movie room for the third one. Again, there will be an intermission in between The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So at the halfway point of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, we're going to have an intermission there as well, just so I can get a cigarette in. We are now going to have an intermission of 30 minutes or so-ish in between the streams, so I can get some dinner in. And yeah, so I can prepare again for the third one. So I will set up again upstairs. And we'll be back soon with The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So at this point, I would like to thank everyone who has been here since pretty much the beginning. Russell, Ramon, Sean, Andy, Dave, Josh, if he's still there, I think he is. Mike Barrett, Mac Chats, who's just popped up. Hopefully he will be here for The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Words and Pictures. Let's see. Can I scroll back enough to see everyone? Gareth was here for Fistful. Double A. Let's see. Who else do we have? Don't want to miss anyone here. Oh, Larry, the Horror Cat Dad. Patrick was here. Rob's Vintage Video. All the guys who were up early on a Sunday. Let's see, who else do we have here? I think that's pretty much... Oh, Matt, Pockwell 316, of course. So yeah, thanks everyone for being here for 2 of the 3 films. We have the third one coming up again in about 35 minutes-ish. So the last few comments. Oh, crap, I skipped one. That would be cool if the cat's name was Blondie. Love Dog Day Afternoon and Justice for All and Cruising with Al Pacino. Yeah, I'm not the biggest Cruising fan, but I do love Al Pacino, as everyone knows, and love the other 2 films. My favorite Western of the past 25 years, The Revenant, which was a remake. You know, I own The Revenant on Blu-ray. I got it from Carlos, but I still haven't got around to actually watching it yet, so that's definitely one I have to get on to pronto. Yeah, it is DiCaprio. Quickly Down Under. Yeah, that is a good one. Yeah, Tom Selleck. Yes, we'll catch up later. Really like that one, Mike. Good call. Yeah. That's gonna be 6:30 for us Europeans. That's gonna be 5:30 for the US. The US. What I'm saying, the UK. Excuse me, my fucking. Where's my phone actually? There it is. Let's see, what did I say? What were the time zones? Let's see, what were the time zones? It was in my post earlier this week. Boom, 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 boom. Where's my, there it is. Here we go. So that's 6:30 for us, 5:30 in the UK, 9:30 a.m. PST, 12:30 p.m. EST, so it's going to be noon for Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, what am I going to watch? Which version? Am I going to watch the international cut of 2 hours and 58 minutes? Am I going to watch... hang on. No, that's not right. The international cut is 2 hours 45. Extended version with 2:58. Extended version without the grotto scene, 2:55. Or am I going to watch the 3-hour cut, 3 hours and 1 minute? I'd probably go for that because, you know, in for a penny, in for a pound at this point. But yeah. So yeah, we're gonna watch the full bloated extended version of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Anyway, so yeah, that's gonna be indeed within about 30 minutes or so ish. 35 years booze free, awesome. It's 10 to 5 here. Yeah, it's now 10 to 6 here, so it's definitely. Oh, my stomach is rumbling. I really gotta get some food in me. Hang on, almost never drink. Yeah. Again, in for a penny, in for a pound. Yeah. Yeah, 2:58 minutes. I do. I do, and we're gonna definitely get some whiskey in for that one. 162. Or there you go. That's the extended one. So yes, with that being said, I'll see you all for the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm gonna quickly get some dinner in, and yes, then we'll be back with arguably the greatest Western ever made. I would counter argue that with another Sergio Leone film, but we're gonna get there. Anyway, the good, the bad, and the ugly in 30 minutes. We do again have a little clip to end the stream on. So until that one, and thanks once again for everyone that has been here now since since this afternoon, or since the early morning for the US people, or since the evening for Matthew Binney, who was here also from Australia. It's now an evening for Matthew Binney. So adios amigos until very shortly. So anyway, the good, the bad, and the ugly coming up very soon, and well, we'll see you then. Anyway, cheers guys. Again, I gotta hit the right button. So outro coming up in 3, 2, 1.
Is back. The man in black is waiting. A walking arsenal who uncoils, strikes, and kills. Clint Eastwood is the man with no name. Lee Van Cleef is waiting. For a few dollars more, it's the second motion picture of its kind. It won't be the last.